Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? May Allah Pak bless you all. Ameen. Today's topic is budget line. Budget line is a line which shows a combination of two goods at given prices. Or we can say it is a line which shows a combination of two goods whose prices are known to us. If we know the prices of the goods, we can draw a line and that line will be known as a budget line. For that matter, following information is required. Number 1, income to be spent on X and Y. It means that we must be knowing the amount of income at the disposal of a consumer. And prices means price of X and Y should also be known to us. If these two informations are with us, we can easily plot a line and that line will be known as budget line. Example, suppose we are having an income of rupees 100, price of X is rupees 20 and price of Y is 10. Now further suppose that consumer is not buying any unit of X. In that case, complete 100 rupees are at his disposal and he can spend these 100 rupees totally on Y. If he spends 100 rupees on Y, he can buy 10 units. Price of Y is 10. 100 divided by 10 equals to 10. Now, if he decides to buy 1 unit of X, it means he spends 20 rupees on X now. 20 is the price of X. So he spends 20 rupees on X. He will be left with 80 rupees. With 80 rupees, he can buy 8 units of Y. 80 divided by 10 equals to 8. If he increase the consumption of X, if he buys 2 units of X, it means he spends 40 rupees on X. While spending 40 rupees on X, he will be left with 60 rupees. In these 60 rupees, he can buy 6 units of Y. 60 divided by 10 equals to 6. Likewise, with 3 units of X, he can get 4 units of Y. With 4 units of X, he can get 2 units of Y. And if he buy 5 units of X, he will be left with no amount of income, so he will not buy any of a Y unit. When we plot these combinations in a graph, we get a line and that line will be known as budget line. Here you can see commodity X is taken on X-axis and commodity Y on Y-axis. When he is buying no commodity X or 0X, he can get 10 units of Y. When he buys first unit of X, his consumption of Y goes to 8. With 2 units of X, consumption of Y becomes 6. With 3 units of X, consumption of Y becomes 4. With 4 units of X, consumption of Y becomes 2. And with 5 units of X, consumption of Y becomes 0. By joining these points, we get a line and that line is known as budget line. Join the combination A, B, C, D, E and F. You will get a line and this line will be known as a budget line. Now, change of budget line. Budget line changes because of 2 factors. One of the factor is change in income. Effect of change in income. When income of a person increases, consumer can buy more of the 2 commodities. So budget line will shift towards right. And in case of fall in the income, budget line will shift towards left. You can see over here, initially budget line is A, B. Now, suppose the income of a consumer increases. Now he can buy more of the 2 commodities with the increase in income. In that case, his budget line will shift towards right. It becomes A dash, B dash. By joining these points, you get a line that shows an increase in budget line, increase in income, and which results in a shifting of budget line, and budget line will shift towards right because of increase in income. This is presented by the dotted line. Here, fall in income is not presented, but you can derive it also. If income of a consumer falls, his budget line will shift towards left, like this. By joining these points, you get a line. That line is known as budget line, which shows a fall in income. Join these two lines, these 2 points which are at the left side of the line, you will get a line that shows a fall in income. Now, effect of change in price. When price changes, budget line changes its slope. For example, when price of X falls, consumer buy more of X. It's a fact that when price falls, people buy more of a commodity. Now suppose when price of X falls, the consumer can buy more of X, so budget line moves right on X-axis. Suppose initially our budget line is AB. This is our budget line. Now price of X falls. When price of X falls, people buy more of X. Now suppose this much of amount people are buying because price of X falls. Price of Y remains the same. Our budget line changes the slope. From AB, it becomes AB dash. This is shown by dotted line. You can see in the graph that price line moves towards right. Why it moves towards right? Because price of X decreases. People start buying more of X. So our budget line shifts the position and it becomes AB dash, indicating that more of X is bought by the people now because of decrease in the price of X. Equilibrium of a consumer through IC approach. According to IC approach, consumer is in equilibrium position at a point where an IC curve is tangent to budget line. This point shows the maximum satisfaction of a consumer. Here in a figure you can see consumer can buy any combination like B, E and C on budget line. These are the combinations B, E and C. These are on a budget line. Consumer can buy any of these combinations. But point E is the best because compared to other points, this gives maximum satisfaction to the consumer. Here IC2 is tangent to BL. BL is a budget line. This is B and L. BL is a budget line. IC2 is tangent to the budget line at combination C. This combination will bring a maximum satisfaction level to the consumer. If he chooses combination A, here it is. If he chooses a combination A, he is not using up the entire amount of an income which is at his disposal, and he is at lower IC, that is IC1, having a lower level of satisfaction. Similarly, B or C points lie on lower IC. You can see that point B and C is on lower IC, whereas point E is on higher IC. The consumer would like to reach higher IC I3 also, but he has not enough money for this. So he cannot go outside the BL. He will remain at point E, which is on the budget line BL, and IC2 is tangent to BL budget line. It shows that consumer is getting maximum satisfaction because he is spending whole amount of income which he has at his disposal. Whole of the amount is spent by him, and the commodities he is buying, he is getting, are giving him a best or a maximum satisfaction. Point D is out of his range. His budget does not permit him to go for D, so he will remain on point E, and derive a maximum satisfaction, and point E will be known as an equilibrium point of a consumer. This is how we derive equilibrium of a consumer through IC approach. This is all for today, girls. Till next lecture, enjoy yourselves and stay blessed. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.